What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first stream in about 27 weeks. At least it feels that long. We are talking double game week 32. It's finally here. This is the only stream of the international break, apart from the one we did just after the game week ended. But at that point, we didn't even know the fixtures from what I remember. So lots has changed since. Obviously, we're still waiting for press conferences. So there's probably still some stuff we can't 100% confirm. I'm hoping, actually, if I'm around on the Saturday morning, I will probably do a last-minute stream. Because Man City are playing at 12:30. So theirs will be the team sheet that comes out as we're streaming, which is going to be a pretty important team sheet for a lot of people. And obviously there's going to be a lot of chaos because it's double game week. And we're waiting to see what happens. It's always the uninteresting press conferences on Thursday, yeah. Basically waiting for Pep, Sarri and Solskjaer, let's be honest. Solskjaer did a press conference today, but that was mostly because he's now the new manager, which is cool. I'm sure he's extremely happy with that. Why wouldn't you be? So hopefully he'll, even if he doesn't do a full press conference tomorrow, there should be another team update. And obviously we're waiting for news on Rashford, Lukaku, Martial, Matic and co, basically. Jimenez and Milivojevic, yeah. This is going to be one of those streams where I'm going to try and not sit here and justify my team over and over again. Because I'm going to get asked so many questions about it. And even if I swapped Milivojevic and Jimenez to someone else, I will get questioned on why I'm doing that. So I can go through my team. For anyone that watched the preview yesterday, it's basically the same. I think it's the same. I'm pretty locked in with most of it, to be honest. I think if Rashford's past fit, then Hazard, Sterling, Pogba, Rashford, Aguero are 100% in. Double Chelsea defence, why not, with the fixtures. And then Laporte and maybe Man United defender, but I really am tempted to go for Schlupp instead. That would also let me do Milivojevic to Martial if he's fit. My only worry there is he comes back from an injury, 2 games in quick succession, but then he has had the whole international break to rest. I don't think he's had any part to do with France, although I could be wrong. I have to check that. But yeah, I've got lots of ways to save money. Wan-Bissaka, Guaita, Smalling could be downgraded. But ultimately, I don't have a good way to get like Son in. I could get David Silva in for Milivojevic and reduce Laporte down to Schlupp. That could happen. So there's a few things. Jimenez, people talking about him being rested. Of course there's a chance, and it's happened before. But he hasn't had that many rests this season. He's just had... Okay, he's not had an international break to rest, but he's only played 1 game. Long flight home could be an issue. I think he arrived back today. But I think there's a chance he plays this game, then maybe misses the next one or plays minutes in the next one. I'm not actually that inspired. Like, Batshuayi is obviously the one that people are talking about. Higuain if I had the money, but it's probably not happening. And Milivojevic, look, I just think around that price... I can afford Martial and I could afford David Silva. So I'm not saying that Milivojevic will 100% be there. But he's nailed on penalties. It's Huddersfield. Who knows? Very boring pick, I agree though. You'd prefer Pedro over Milivojevic. The thing is, when you got to remember, whenever you suggest someone, you've got to think elsewhere. So yes, I could put Pedro in, who may not play both games. But then I have to remove one of Azpilicueta or Kepa. So I could put in Schlupp, I suppose. But I just like the idea of double Chelsea defence. Am I sure I will skip Spurs? I'm pretty sure I will. Although I will say my team value is not great. So for example, I won't get it on the transfer screen, but I can tell you now because I looked earlier. I'm basically 0.2 million off doing Milivojevic to Son, and that's by getting a 3.9 million keeper, another 3.8 defender. I'm 0.2 million off, and that's even with doing Smalling to Schlupp. I kind of want to keep Laporte. I mean, obviously, I could downgrade Laporte instead of Smalling and do it, but then I lose my third Man City player. I just don't want to do that. And to be honest with Spurs, I think one of their midfielders will probably do alright. If they're the one that gets the goal against Liverpool, great, and they can get something against Palace as well. It's just hard to pick the right one, I think, and I'm not that inspired by the fact it's Liverpool. I do think that game. I mean, history this season tells us that game will be tight, right? I mean, it could be open. Like the thing is, the thing I'm going to hate about this free hit double game week is there's going to be so much hindsight. But at the end of the day, it's just one game. It's very hard to predict one game. I could tell you over the next 4 or 5 game weeks who I think are going to do well. Like if I researched it, I haven't because I got a wild card coming. And look, someone might do well in the first game, then bad in the second, and then do alright for the next 3, 4, and 5. But in a single game week with only 2 games, it's pretty hard to 100% nail which player's going to do well. So I just think Spurs with that Liverpool game, I'm not kind of pushing the boat out to get them. I've got ways to get them, but they're none that I really like. And Kane especially is just a no for my team. I just don't have the money for it. I have seen some very good Kane teams with the high team value. I think they look alright because they don't really have poor options in their team. They've just basically swapped Jimenez for Kane and maybe a little bit of a cheaper defence. But yeah, so not for me. I'm not completely writing Kane off, of course, but I mean, at the end of the day, if he had Fulham and Cardiff like Man City do, then I would look much more at getting him in my team. Simple as that. So it is a money thing, but at the same time, if he had great fixtures, I would make sure I had that money maybe, or at least I'd get a couple of Spurs midfielders in. But at the end of the day, he's got Liverpool. So if you've got a high team value, fair enough. If you're not, I just don't think it's worth trying to find the money, personally. Gora, thanks very much, as always. Kepa, Laporte, Schlupp, Lindelof, How's Sterling, Pogba, DFA, Rashford, Aguero, Kane. There you go. I mean, that's a pretty sweet Kane team. The only thing you don't have is double Chelsea defence, but obviously you've got Kane, you've got the midfield, DFA, just instead of like Milivojevic or whoever. Looks good to me. 4K overall rank. That Kane, Harry Kane is lowly owned. And I don't foresee that percentage going up too much with free hit teams. So I kind of like Kane as the differential, but I wouldn't put too much money on too many goals in that Liverpool game. So you're basically betting a lot on the new stadium, which could work. But again, it's just, I hate to say it's just a guessing game over and over. Obviously, that's the same. FPL is always a guessing game, but it is much harder to do that in a single game week. Between Pedro and Higuain, what's your thoughts? I mean, I think there's 2 players who you cannot... I mean, we're going to say... It's very hard to actually predict exactly which players are going to play too. There's players like Pogba, Hazard, you'd imagine, Rashford, if he's fit, and Lukaku's out, will play 2 games, Azpilicueta, etc. Outside of that, it does get pretty tricky. Now, Pedro... The thing I don't like about Pedro is, even if he plays, he doesn't get great minutes. Now, he's a good price. So if you can get your goal in the first game in 60 minutes, you're laughing. Higuain is not really getting much love. Well, I guess for his price, he's not really performed well. But they're two pretty easy fixtures for Chelsea. There's a big money difference. I kind of like the Higuain punt, to be honest. But obviously... And I do think, if I had to put some money on it... I would put the money on Higuain starting twice over Pedro. I mean, obviously, I could be wrong, but that would be my instinct. Thanks for the donation, by the way. Is Duffy worth a punt? Do you know what? I was thinking earlier, I have completely overlooked Duffy. Now, I think probably for good reason on a free hit, because most teams can fit in like a Man United defender, Schlupp, Azpilicueta, or Chelsea defender and Laporte, basically. So unless you're playing like 4 or 5 at the back, it's quite hard to fit Duffy in. But as a cheap defender, Schlupp is good, yes, but versus Duffy, maybe there's not that much in it. He is a bit of a goal threat. You're right, there could be a clean sheet in that Southampton game, just like Palace could get one against Huddersfield, and then they both got tougher fixtures. And I was listening to the Scoutcast day, and like Luke said, would we be that surprised if they happened to keep a clean sheet against Chelsea? Maybe not. I mean, it'd be tough. It is away at the end of the day. But if he can get a clean sheet and a goal, who knows? So yeah, I think Duffy is actually an okay option. And if you're not free hitting, then he's got 3 double game weeks. So definitely an option then. Cheers, Luke. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I've had this shirt for a while now. Just never been able to put it on. Punt on Alonso instead of Azpilicueta. Not for me. There's not enough upside there, basically. You just don't know if he's going to play. Simple as that. Wasn't great against Everton. Hasn't been great for a while. Attacking threat is kind of down quite a bit. Yeah, I just think there's quite a big chance that Emerson plays. Azpilicueta will almost certainly play twice. I would be very annoyed if he doesn't play twice, to be honest. So yeah, it's just, that's not the kind of risk I want to take. Because you're betting on him not only playing, but then maybe getting an attacking return. If they get clean sheets, they're both going to get the same points, apart from maybe bonus, of course. So I'd rather just take Azpilicueta. I think Rashford will be deemed fit for Watford, but can't see him playing 2 games within the space of 3 days, having been pulled out of the England squad. Maybe. I mean, we don't know how bad the injury was when he pulled out of the squad. It could have just been precautionary. Obviously, England playing 2... I mean, at the end of the day, that England squad... I mean, squad-wise, yeah, of course, you want your best players, but for the first 11, maybe Rashford doesn't even get in that team. I mean, he could play wide instead of Sancho or Hudson-Odoi. But with Kane up front, maybe England weren't that worried about not having him. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to see what Solskjaer says. My thinking is, if he's fit to play the first game, he'll play the second. Because who's going to play instead? If Lukaku's out. Now, if Lukaku is anywhere near fit, or there's a chance he'll make the second game, then that does make it a little bit different. But honestly, we're just gonna have to wait for Rashford news. It's really hard to say anything about him when we don't know. It's a shame the press conference wasn't today, to be honest. Thoughts on Mendy? Again, Mendy... I mean, my team is pretty safe, right? And I mean, I'm sure there is some differentials you could go for. Like Kane being one. I mean, any Spurs player feels like a bit of a differential this week. And I mean, differential is in the free hit teams that we're seeing. But Mendy, I mean... it's just a risk you don't need to take. When was the last time he played? I mean, he hasn't played since game week 12. So, I don't think Pep's going to come out and say, he's absolutely going to play the next 2 games. So, I mean, Mendy is just a no for me. You mentioned on FPL surgery you were going to take out Milivojevic. I am still looking at it. I just think it's such a boring pick. And me, a couple of years ago, would never go for Milivojevic. If Martial is past fit, that would be seriously tempting. I might go for him, take out Smalling and put Schlupp in instead. Because I'm pretty happy with Schlupp to have him on my team. Why would Sterling miss a game? They go for the title. I think he plays both. I mean, I don't think they're going for the title, but top 4 is still huge. Oh, sorry, yeah, it's Sterling. I don't know why. I saw Ollie above that. I was thinking about Man United. Yes, Man City obviously going for the title. Look, there is a chance Sterling plays both, but ultimately we don't know. We just cannot sit here and say that any of them are going to play twice. People looking at Sané, I do think that is just a double game week move. Like, if Man City had Fulham and then in one game week and Cardiff in the next one, like if these were split between 2 game weeks and people were saying, yeah, let's say Fulham was in game week 32 and Cardiff was in game week 33, and you had to bring in a Man City midfielder this week, no one would pick Sané. No one. He's played 140 minutes in the last 6 game weeks. Yes, he might have played well for Germany. That's not Man City. There is literally nothing. There's no argument there's not that there's no argument to pick Sané, but there's no argument that you could give to say he's gonna play 120 minutes, other than a gut feeling, which is fine. People have gut feelings. Some people like to pick their team on gut feelings. Yes, he could play one full game, maybe get minutes in the other one, but I mean, he's only played 140 minutes in the last 6 weeks. And what's really changed? Apart from the fact it's a double game week. Mitrovic, that is ultimate differential. How much of a migraine has free hit give me? Nothing, to be honest. If you go and watch my first draft free hit video, it's not much different to this. I kind of pick my team. I actually don't like tinkering over and over again because you can just overthink it. You start looking at every minute stat for every team. Oh, they've defended like this in the last 4, this in the last 4 away, this in the last 4 home. But this striker's got slightly better expected goals. And I like stats for sure. But this week for me, City and Chelsea have got the best fixtures. I want 3 of each team. Man United have got okay fixtures. And they're playing 2 teams that could rotate. I'm not quite sure there'll be that much rotation, but they might do. They've got a new manager confirmed now. Potentially their best 11 or a lot of their attackers back. Remember, Lukaku previously was not in the best team. So I want triple them. So that's already 9 covered. So I'm only really picking 2 other spots. So honestly, it's not really giving me that much of a headache. And now that might change on Saturday when I think, oh shit, the deadline is close now. Chelsea have the best fixtures. Why not double up on attack? Because it's not as easy as that, is it? Higuain is 3 million more than Jimenez, or 2 million more than Rashford. Can you talk through the Laporte pick, considering the Ederson option with perhaps Rudiger and yeah, I mean, for my particular team, I want double Chelsea defence. So if I go for Ederson instead of Laporte, in fact, actually, one thing I haven't considered is Ederson is cheaper. So that would give me enough money to get Son, which I hadn't quite thought about. But yeah, it means I have to pick another Chelsea defender. And Rudiger might be alright. Just played over the international break. Maybe gets a rest. I doubt it. Luiz worries me a little bit. Now, after these 2 games, they got a break until the next game. But we've seen before he can't play games in quick succession, or he hasn't on occasion. Or excuse me. So that's what worries me about going Ederson and Luiz. Now I could go Ederson, Rudiger. But I don't know. There's actually not much in it, I don't think, between Kepa and Laporte and Ederson and Rudiger. Obviously, if you've not got Azpilicueta anyway, it's a bit of a different story, I think. But I've got him. Yeah, look, I'll show you. Just doing Schlupp on his own doesn't. So I really should. I'm not going to play Wan-Bissaka. So I should just swap him out. Stop worrying about the money. Wan-Bissaka will just not be in my starting lineup, no way. And then I'm probably not going to play Guaita either. Guitar. Is it guitar? Is it Guaita? How do you pronounce it? So I don't think Smalling's risen in price yet, has he? Let me check. No, I don't want to lose money on him. So put him in. Sorry, let me just quickly set this up just to show you. So basically it leaves me with 8.4. So I can't get Son. And if I want David Silva, then I drop Laporte, which is fine. I drop into a Man United defender. So I might do that. That is my more favoured. That's probably my more preferred route. If I'm not going to go for Milivojevic, then something like this. Man City. But David Silva, is he going to play twice? Who knows? So something like that. So Schlupp, Young, Azpilicueta, 3 Man City. Otherwise, yeah, I just basically, with Schlupp, I can only afford 8.4 million. So, happy days. I think Ali is 8.8. He's more than Son. Yeah, 8.8. So let me just leave these in for now. Going to make those cheaper transfers because I'm never going to play them. Never going to give you up. Bernardo's a better and cheap. I don't know if he's a better option. He is a cheaper option though. I mean, Bernardo doesn't tend to get too many points. Your love for Jimenez is blind. I mean, what's wrong with Jimenez? I mean, surely the only problem with Jimenez is what if he doesn't play twice? If he does play, like for the money, who is better than Jimenez for that price? I mean, it's not like I've got 2 or 3 million sat in the bank. I'm interested to know because I thought there'd be a bit more Jimenez love. Current money in the bank with that is 1 million. 1 million exactly. Is that right? 1 million? Yeah, must be right. Yeah, they're maybe not a priority, although there is potentially a European place up for grabs. Maybe not as good as getting into the FA Cup final though. Yeah, I could downgrade Azpilicueta. That is one way to afford some. Do I even want some though? I've kind of got attached to Azpilicueta. Murray, I'm not really interested in. He has to play Chelsea. There's a chance they rotate for that game. We've seen them do it before, essentially in games which they think they can't win, or there's less chance of winning. They've obviously got FA Cup semi-final to think about as well. Same as Jimenez, to be fair. Deeney, not really interested at all. Batshuayi would be the one, but he's more expensive. So I could afford him, but I'd have Milivojevic and Batshuayi. I don't know. I mean, who's going to play instead of Jimenez? Maybe Traore, potentially. I don't know. I mean, it's 5 days rest between the second game and the FA Cup semi-final. You'd think that's enough? If you do not own Jimenez, would you still get him in or Batshuayi? I mean, I probably wouldn't pay 6.9 for Jimenez, no. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not like sat here 100%. Yes, he's definitely going to play both games, but I think there is a chance. And if he does, what's he done all season? Scored goals. I mean, Batshuayi, are people expecting that many points against Spurs? I mean, really, it's just a Huddersfield game, surely. Is Doherty being overlooked? I mean, I do think, yes, there's chance Wolves players get rotated. I think Doherty and people like Jota have got more chance of being rotated than Jimenez. Might not be, but that would be my gut feel. So Doherty I probably wouldn't go for unless I absolutely had to. I'd probably prefer Schlupp as well, especially if you're buying him new, like as if you didn't already own him, Doherty, then definitely not worth the money this week. I think Traore has started. I think there was a game when Jimenez got rested and Traore and Jota started up front. Yeah, I mean, he's played 60 minutes, 59. This is Traore. 59, 62, 58. So 74 minutes just 2 game weeks ago. But I believe, well, Jimenez played that game as well. So yeah, there is a chance he starts up front. Let me just check that, because Jimenez missed not much. Game week 22, although that was against Man City, so maybe they thought they were going to lose that anyway. Game week 22 and game week 16. 22 and 16. And then Traore played 60 minutes in game week 16 and 45 in game week 22, which is basically came off at Jimenez. So, without triple checking. So there is a chance it happens. Get Tompkins or risk a Wan-Bissaka. Tompkins is probably going to score a goal before the end of the season. Will it be this week? Maybe. Sané could get 110. He could get 5 minutes. Chelsea conceded 15 goals in the last 5 away matches. Alright, let's see who they were. Everton, yeah, that was a poor result, to be honest. Fulham, They conceded 1. Okay, Man City was 6 of those goals. Bournemouth was 4. I mean, I'm not sure Brighton. I'm not sure Cardiff are going to stick 4 goals against them. And then the other one was Arsenal. So I don't know. Cardiff and Brighton seem okay to me. I think I said this. Did I say it on the last stream or video? Sometimes I just think, keep it simple. Chelsea are playing Cardiff and Brighton. I said it on Twitter actually. Keep it simple sometimes with FPL. They're playing Cardiff and Brighton. I don't think you can really... I mean, yes, you can look at 15 goals in 5 game weeks. Not great. Let's be honest. But do I really think that's going to happen against Cardiff and Brighton? I feel like if I get double Chelsea defence and they don't keep a clean sheet, I'll still feel like I made the right decision. I won't feel like I made a mistake, even though it was a mistake. Jay Lings ended up on one of your free hit drafts. I like it. I mean, Duffy really over a Chelsea defender? Really? I don't know. I just don't buy that. Because surely for Chelsea, there is a potential for 2 clean sheets. Surely, Brighton and Cardiff. Whereas Duffy, you're kind of banking on that Southampton game. A bit like Schlupp, I think. You're banking on that Southampton game and then hoping he gets something against Chelsea. Why do I have Small over Lindelof? There's not really much in it. Part of me just... If I try and think about which centre-backs score goals for Man United, Lindelof's not really top of my list, although he has. Smalling just maybe a little bit better goal for it. I don't know. Young might even be better, to be honest. Smalling's just a gut feeling. Like, when it comes to picking defenders in double game, you try and pick the ones that are nailed. They're going to get clean sheet and then go from there, really. There is 0.5 million in it, but I don't really need that money, so... Put it this way, if I really need that 0.5, I'd do it in a flash. Like, I'm not... I don't think that Smalling is necessarily worth 0.5 million more if you really need that money. Do I reckon I'll get 100 points? Yeah. Got to, surely. Captain... If Aguero plays twice, I'll be extremely disappointed not to get 100 points this week. Extremely disappointed. DFA and Smalling or Jimenez and Schlupp? I think I prefer Jimmy and Schlupp, to be honest. Cheers, James. If you have the coinage, is Bernardo Silva a better option than City defender? I don't think he is, personally. I think his underlying stats, from what I remember from checking before, have improved. He just doesn't tend to get that many points. And I feel like, Laporte, again... I look at Man City defence and think, surely that's a double clean sheet. Yes, they could concede, but again, I wouldn't feel like that's a mistake to think that. And with Chelsea, look, maybe I've got it wrong. But I'm not going to... On a free hit, double game week, I'm not turning down the chance. Like, put it this way. If Brighton had Cardiff away... Well, obviously they can't have Brighton at home. Let me go through that again. I don't know. If... Southampton had Cardiff away and Brighton at home, I would consider a double up in defence. Simple as that. So I'll do it with Chelsea. They've got quality players. Yes, recently not been great, but if you need 2 fixtures to turn it around, these are the 2. City might score 12 goals. They might, and hopefully they're all scored by Aguero. If downgrading Pogba to Martial means you can get Kane, is it worth it? I mean, who are you dropping for Kane, though? De Gea for Kepa and switch Smalling for someone else. Yeah, I mean, I could do that, but who, I guess, is the question. Quick tip to get over it. Best thing to get over a hangover is not drink in the first place. That's my advice. How are Man United defenders such an appealing option? They nearly always concede. Well, I guess we're just hoping they don't concede. You are right though. In the last 5 games, conceded in the last 3. But hopefully everyone's back fit. I think that'll make a difference. But let's see. Let's wait and see what happens tomorrow. Money is no object. Do you take a Man United defender or Schlupp? Well, I basically got that opportunity. I've got that. I had that dilemma now, right? It's not that money's no object, but I've got someone in my team, i.e., he's as expensive as Young. I could just get Schlupp instead. I don't know. Do I really think Man United are going to keep 2 clean sheets? I'm not so sure they are. I know the next question is going to be why do you have Man United defender? Because there ain't too many other better options. But I think I might have Schlupp and money in the bank, to be honest. Because I think they can get something from that Huddersfield game, and then if the Spurs game is tight, who knows? Double defensive returns, maybe an attacking return. His underlying stats are pretty good for someone who's 4.5 million if he plays both. My only actually worry about Schlupp is that for whatever reason he loses his place. Now he's played the last 4 and he's been been bigged up by Hodgson a bit, so you'd hope he'll play somewhere across that front. In their attack. But I suppose there's a slight worry about that, but probably not enough to put me off going for him. So I'm probably going to change to Schlupp. I think we'll see. Would you have Van Aanholt or United? If you wouldn't have Van Aanholt, why would you have Schlupp? I mean, to be honest, I would take Schlupp over Van Aanholt right now, and just have the money in the bank. Rip it apart. Cheers for the donation, Business Cat. You know what the first problem with your team is? You've not got double Chelsea defence. That's a mistake. No, I'm only messing. Only because of what you said just a minute ago. See, you've got Kane. So straight away, I kind of think Schlupp and Duffy, nah. But then you've got Kane. So I like it. You're not... Excuse me. You got the big dudes, Triple City, the 3 big midfielders everyone's got, Pogba, Hazard, Sterling. I kind of like Martial if he's pass fit. Could be an interesting one. And then, again, I've got Jimenez, but I won't sit here and argue that he's massively better than Batshuayi for this particular week. Maybe for the rest of the season, yes, but he looks good. And you've got Kane as that differential. And like I said, I think Schlupp is just as good as Man United defender this week. And then the only kind of, I don't even want to say downside, but Duffy is obviously the one that sticks out. But if you're confident that he's going to get a clean sheet at Southampton, then maybe something against Chelsea too. Why not if it lets you have Kane? So good luck, my man. Who do I think is the most likely to start both matches of Aguero and Sterling? Yeah, I mean, this has been done to death across FPL-related content this week. And I think everything seems to point to Aguero. And again, if I had to put money on it, I would put my money on Aguero. Simple as that. I think he's had his rest. He started like the last 8, I think, in the league. He's not playing in the FA Cup. Although, obviously, they're a bit close to the final now, so maybe he will. And Sterling's just played. They've got other players that can replace Sterling. Yes, they've got Jesus, but Aguero seems to be the more trusted man there. I do think there's a chance Sterling just plays both too. And then who knows who gets the most minutes. But my money is on Aguero. Seriously considering Kane could be a great captain. At least we can know he's scoring big games. He can, but Liverpool have played, I think I said this earlier, if not I definitely tweeted it. Liverpool have played 8 games against the top 6 this season and have conceded a total of 7 goals. There is no reason why Spurs can't score. There's no reason why they won't score more than 2. But I don't know realistically how likely that is to happen. So as a great captain, I'm not sure. Simply for fixtures, if I was forced to put a captain on someone else outside of Man City, I think I would put it on Hazard ahead of Kane. I know people don't trust Hazard, but that's just how strongly I feel about those Spurs fixtures. Thoughts on going all in on certain teams versus hedging bets with variety. So dropping United defender if you think, yeah, this is an interesting one. I think because there's 2 games, I'm less likely to worry that Smalling is playing Wolves, right? So you could go for high ceiling and make sure you've got no one playing against each other and hope that, by maybe taking Jimenez out and putting Batshuayi in because you've got Smalling, that Man United then keep the clean sheet and Jimenez gets nothing. But do you know what? There's no reason. I would just pick the player you think is the best option. So I wouldn't. Personally, I don't look at the fact I've got Smalling. I look at Jimenez versus Batshuayi if I could afford both. If I think Jimenez plays twice, then I think he's probably the better option. So I don't worry that I've got Smalling as well, because then I look at Smalling versus Schlupp, and if I think that Smalling is the better option, I go for him. Maybe Smalling gets a clean sheet and bonus against Watford, a goal against Wolves, and Jimenez scores. Could happen. That's just an example of those two. Obviously, I actually think Schlupp's quite a good differential, so maybe I will end up doing that. But I get your point. But I've hedged my not hedged my bets. I've gone for the high ceiling before, and it can hurt. So I just like picking the best players and not worrying necessarily about who they're playing. But I get the point for sure. What's up, Fozzie? Good to see ya. Kane has been bigging himself up recently. He said yes, he's going to play in the NFL. Yeah, I mean that'll be interesting. Let's see what happens. Hopefully it's not this week though. The Fantasy Football Scout predicted lineup for Man City does not include Laporte. But how can they have done that yet? Because they've not had a press conference, right? Are you sure that's not for last week? If there's no writing next to it, that means it was for last week. So I would say that's what it is. Yeah. So ignore that. That's for last week. They'll probably do it after the press conference, basically. So nay panic. Thought I would have been all in on Son. I know, I'm just kind of not in for Spurs players at all. Why not Lindelof for Smalling? I might just put Lindelof in because there's not really. I don't have a. I don't really have a great reason other than I can afford Smalling and just have a gut feeling. But yeah, Lindelof's fine for 5.1. What do I think about taking Leicester players for this game against Bournemouth and knowing they will concede? If you're on a free hit, not interested in the single game week players, to be honest. If you're not on a free hit and you've got Leicester players, I wouldn't be that worried about having them. Yes, because it's Bournemouth and then they've got a game in Gameweek 33. So, have I tinkered with 5 at the back and Kane? I haven't. Not really interested, if I'm completely honest. I think 4-3-3 is the most I would go to, but probably not doing that either. Smalling's my only differential. I'm cool with that. I don't mind at all. I'll take that as a compliment. If I've only got one differential, perfect. Do we know how many free hits have been activated? Only what FPL said, like last week was it, I think? It's like 78,000. Maybe there'll be more. Double Palace defense and 5-3-2. Not for me. It's not for me. I think that's a lot of sacrifice just to get Kane, who plays one of the best defences in the league. What if Rashford isn't fit? Do you know what? That's a great question because I've not really looked at it. I guess I go into panic mode. I would say I would maybe go like 3-5-2. Martial is fit, maybe something like that. I don't think the Mendy is worth a punt if Pep gives any indication he gets minutes personally. I just think it's too risky for somebody who's been out for so long. Surely Jota will be rested. I would be worried about Jota this week personally, more than Jimenez. Higuain or Rashford, I think I'd go Rashford between the two. Although I'm not completely opposed to Higuain like a lot of people. Don't know. Just think there's I just think it's the fixtures actually more than anything. Is my captain definitely on Aguero? Unless there's some big news tomorrow, like he's injured, then definitely, yeah. Wildcard plan is to get Game Week 33 over with, then have a look at the wildcard. Don't really have much of a plan, to be honest. Get a double Game Week bench? No, I don't really need one, I don't think. I think you'd have to be very unlucky with like that kind of team to have to use your bench. And if you're picking a player that you need to worry about, you probably shouldn't pick them. Can we edit our team once we've free hitted? Yes. As much as you like. Is your ego the reason you left the Scoutcast? No. Not at all. My ego. Pogba feels expensive based on form. Yeah. I do think Man United could be... I did say this thinking in the video. I do think there's a slight worry about their recent form, but just hoping with everyone back fit, it'll be a different story. Yeah, like bench options, I'll figure them out. Not just stuck them in for now. Can do that before the deadline. Is Lingard a good option? He might do okay if he's fully fit, but let's wait and see. Did I see Luke's team? I did, yeah. 5-2-3. I mean, I don't know. Like, he doesn't like the midfielders, and to be honest, outside of Hazard, Sterling, and Pogba, I'm not really like massively a fan of any of the other midfielders. Like, got Milivojevic. If I lost him, I wouldn't be that bothered. I mean, it's to get Kane. For me, I just don't want to play 5 at the back just for Kane. But like he said, he's 500k, trying to catch up. He's captaining him too. Why not try something different? But I don't know. Maybe I'm worrying about that Liverpool game too much. I don't know. We do have 4 polls, actually. So if you want to go and vote on them and you haven't already, make sure you go and do top right-hand corner, little I. Go ahead and do that. And if you haven't already, hit like on the stream. Much appreciated. Let's get as many as we can tonight. Lingard is fit. Yeah, he's not flagged or anything, but let's just see what Solskjaer does. We don't need to make a decision today, do we? That's the good thing. I tell you now, a Kane experiment, I've got to cut a lot. My team value really isn't actually that great. I'd probably have to go like for a 2 or something like that. Can I have a quick look though? Give me just a sec. I have to put Quainer up front. Ugh. Disgusting. Yeah, Spurney did put 2 past Liverpool, you're right. Look, Kane can score a hat-trick in that game and I'll be sat here eating my words. Although I'm not, it's not like I'm super against him. Not like I'm calling people idiots who have got him in. But, yeah, not for me. And like I'm about to show you, this does come into play quite a bit as to why I'm doing it. Maybe I would have to go double defence for Palace. So, could do something like this, maybe. But this is what I mean about my team value. It is not great. Hang on. I mean, that's pretty ugly. Yeah, okay, it could be Duffy instead. Well, no, actually, it couldn't be Duffy. I can't afford him. Yeah, I mean, team value does help for occasions like this, but I don't think it's like it's hurting me too much not having. So I haven't really worried about price rises all year, and to be honest, in a lot of cases, it's helped with extra info. So I think, like with everything in FPL, it's actually quite hard to measure success of a decision. So like you could say that by not focusing on price rises, I've made a mistake because now I can't afford Kane, for example. But at the same time, I've left my transfer to the last minute and had quite a bit of information from that. So how much does that help versus this? So it's hard to say for sure, because if I make a different decision back then, I make different decisions throughout the season, and maybe everything changes. But yeah, I mean, my team value is not the best. I'm certainly not going to kill my team to get Kane in. Would I consider dropping a premium Chelsea defender to get Higuain? I don't think so. I quite like Higuain as a differential, but I'm pretty happy with Rashford and what's it called? Jimenez. I think they're looking alright. But he has a chance to get a clean sheet and a goal over 2 matches. Who are you talking about? I can't see. So yeah, I'm not liking that team basically. I mean, obviously there's probably other ways I can try and get Kane, but they're not necessarily ideal. Total selling value. I think it's like 102.9. Let me check. Do it on my other screen. It is, yeah, 102.9. Kane and Rashford, the same price. Who would you go for? Oof. Kane and Rashford, same price. Who would you go for? I mean, I'd probably be lying if I said anything other than Kane, wouldn't I? But I mean, let's say everyone at Man United is fully fit, and we're going to go back to the kind of attack that Solskjaer first started off with. Better fixtures, maybe. Slightly better fixtures. I mean, let's not forget that Man United's fixtures against teams in, like, what, 7th and 8th in the league? So they're not awful by any stretch. And Wolves have just done one over on Man United as well. But it would be hard to turn Kane down for 7.6 million or whatever Rashford is, but he's not, so it doesn't really matter. Are you talking about Louise? Yeah, you could get attacking returns. I'm just worrying if he's going to play the second game. But could probably say that about just about anyone. Eight days into the wildcard. Is that actually all it is? No, it's got to be more than that. Oh, okay, because the Gameweek 33 deadline would have passed, I see. Yeah, there's going to be a lot to talk about for that. So, the game week starts on Friday the 5th. Liverpool versus Southampton on a Friday. Then it ends on Monday the 8th. And then the next game's on Friday. So we've only got 4 days between the end of one game week and the next one. So I quite like that. Not going to be too much time to tinker. Plenty to think about for the wildcard. But do you know what? Having less time to think about is kind of nice. You've got to make your decision and stick with it. Do I think having Spurs players is essential? No. Thoughts on Leroy Sané? Minutes probably going to be a problem. If you need a cheap 4.2 million med for bench, McDonald from Fulham is decent. Gets minutes and has double gaming. He will be in. He will be in. Foster versus Kepa. Who is best this week? I think Kepa, but I think for a cheaper goalkeeper, Foster's decent enough. Maybe Ryan for Brighton as well. Hudson at 4.2. He's not an option, is he? He's not an option. Plus, you waste the Chelsea spot. Yeah, I mean, Dunk, we saw last year, Dunk has got decent goal for it as well, like Duffy. I just think people are talking about Duffy because I think he's had the most goal attempts from defenders. Or at least out of him and Dunk this year. Let me have a look. You're going Edison over Laporte purely for a guaranteed start. It might not actually be the worst idea. I mean, if Laporte doesn't start one of the games, it's going to look really stupid then. Will I be going triple Brighton on a free hit? Dunk does like an own goal as well, yeah. I'll be getting some Brighton players in. You can't turn down 2 double game weeks, especially their first one in 34 is really good. I'm probably going to want to captain a player from a double game week as well. Let's have a look. Duffy's had 29 goal attempts all season. So he gets at least one a game. And Dunk has had 14, so half. Not cool. Triple captain Duffy. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about captain Duffy at all. Let's hope that Gross is back. And that I can fit him in somehow. Because I'd be worried about Murray playing twice. But yeah, Ryan and Duffy look good. Maybe Camarasa if he's fit and available. Have you considered Schlapp over Milivojevic and fielding 4-3-3? Expected goals 90 plus 6 matches, 2.9 for many clean sheet odds. It's not a bad shout, honestly. Might be something that I think about. Just those penalties, you know. If Zaha and Townsend are both playing, who knows? They could get 2 penalties. I mean, I do hate like waiting on penalties. It does kind of suck. If Salah blanks again, will you take him out? Salah on not for game week 33, no chance because of the strategy that I'm playing. But on the 34 wildcards, Salah is very likely not to be in my team. But Liverpool do have some pretty good fixtures going down to the wire. But I just don't think he can justify his price at this point. But yeah, I mean for game week 33, I've got him. Not going to use the transfer to take him out for 33. Right, one more minute and I'm going to do the poll. So vote on them now if you want to get your opinion heard. Regarding the captain, nobody's mentioned Aguero's going for the Golden Boot. To be honest, I know it always feels like Kane is the only one going for the Golden Boot. That's because people always talk about it with Kane. Oh, he's going to want the Golden Boot, but no one really ever talks about it with other players. Cheers, Barry. Thanks for tuning in. Don't have to chat. Can if you like. Plenty of people just watch. Imagine if Liverpool players go big this week. Look, that's obviously great for those not free hitting. But I won't be too annoyed. If Liverpool players go mad, I will not regret it. It's Spurs. If it was Fulham at home or something like that, it's different. But it's Spurs. Seb, why not X-Player? X-Player is definitely not going to play twice. 100%. 100%. Oh, as a Spurs player, it's the only trophy you can win. I didn't say that. Mr. Business Cat said that. Spurs goal will really help free hit teams. Yeah, Spurs goal from like Sissoko. Unless you own Spurs players, of course. Right, let's just quickly do the polls this week. I'm pretty sure I know how the captain one is gonna end up. So your game week 32 captain, Aguero, 79%. So massive for Aguero. 16% for Sterling, so a little, well, quite a way behind. But yeah, 16% for Sterling, 2% for Hazard, 3 people going for Kane, and 4 people going for someone else, apparently. Which third Man City attacker is best? So this is if you're picking one. David Silva, 54%. 27% for Bernardo Silva, 12% for Sané. So Sané quite low down. I think that's probably fair. 1% for Mahrez and 4% going for someone else. Which formation on a free hit are you playing? 3-4-3 is the big one, 66%. Always is the best one. Sorry, God, let me rephrase that. Not always the best one, always the most popular. 4 at the back is ahead of 3-5-2, 17%. 12% on 3-5-2 and 2% on 5 at the back. And then lastly, is Kane worth the cash for Gameweek 32 only? 77% say no, he's not worth the cash. 23% on yes. So nearly as many people are Captain Aguero who think that Kane is just not worth the cash. Obviously, take that how you want. I'd say a lot of people just aren't putting him in his team, so they're saying he's not worth the cash. Probably true. But if you've got the cash, why not flaunt it? A lot of people have got really good team value. But yeah, Milivojevic versus Schlupp is an interesting option. I'm basically banking on clean sheets instead of penalties. It could happen with Huddersfield. It's a nice little idea, that. Do you know why, though? It's almost psychological that if I do that, I have like nearly 2 million more to spend, but nowhere really to that I want to upgrade it, to upgrade a player. It would feel wrong going in with like 2 million or even 3 million in the bank. Do you play Wan-Bissaka or Vardy? Good question, because Wan-Bissaka's got the double. Vardy's playing Bournemouth though. Could see goals in that one. I mean, you got to think. If you think Spurs are going to score, I think you have to go Vardy. Because Wan-Bissaka's going to get like, what, 9 points max in the Huddersfield game. Probably not too much assist potential. And then you'd expect Spurs to score at least one, right? So Vardy, maybe a double figure haul with a goal or two against Bournemouth. I think I'd go Vardy. It's quite close. Usually I would just pick the double game week player, but defender versus attacker, it's a bit different. Do I think DFA will play twice? I think there's a good chance of that, yeah. But I don't know, I'm just guessing like anyone really. What are you saying about a wild card this week or save for a better time? I mean, it would depend on your team. If your team looks like awful for this week, you could wild card and set up for the rest of the season. But you'd have to really put some thought in it and consider that, you know, the people like Brighton have got 2 more double game weeks. So you might want to go for some of them, even though a lot of people aren't doing it this week. So you'd really have to start thinking and hurry up, because deadline's going to be soon. Right, people, I think we will leave the stream there. I might do another one on Saturday, but I've done a lot of stuff this international break, so potentially this is the last bit of content until Game Week 32. Then we're back to our old Game Week 33 things. Do you know what? I kind of miss mine. Kind of miss Maguire with his red card and Wilson not doing anything and Rondon just smashing it. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting that back. And then it really is the business end where we do the wild cards. So if I don't do another stream on Saturday, good luck in double game week. Hopefully it is a good one. Double game weeks are probably some of the most fun you have with FPL. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll try and tweet my tweets out. Try and tweet my team out before the deadline if it's finalised. I think it's probably going to stick to this. I do think that. And before I go, let me just quickly do the Patreon shout out. So we've got one more game week left for March. So if you do want to join Patreon, support the stream and the channel in general, there will be an April League, $50 prize for that. So if you sign up before April 1st, which is only a few days away, you can get involved with that. Join the Discard channel and stuff as well. So shout out to the producers, Dean P, Matchek, Gaz H, Melissa B, Ryan TOB, Tim W, Matthew H, Hayden H, Christopher M, and Scott S. Thanks very much for the support as always. If you do want to join that, links in the description.